Hello guys, welcome back. Today we got a lot of news coming out of the Pacific Division. Both Logan Couture have been extended, as well as Doughty. Now the Doughty news came yesterday, and I kind of felt like it wasn't quite enough for me to make one video about it. But we hear about the Logan Couture signing today, so I felt I might as well put both my thoughts in one video. So we're going to start off the Logan Couture side of things. He was signed today to an 8x8 contract, pretty much the same as John Carlson was, and he was signed, of course, to 8x8, so 8 years for $8 million. This season with the San Jose Sharks, he played 78 games, 34 goals, 27 assists for 61 points. He had a corner score percentage of 50.8. His career high is 67 points, and while that may seem a little bit low for a guy you're giving, $8 million for 8 years, I feel like the thing that they're getting for him is consistency. While Logan Couture's defense is pretty underrated, the thing that strikes me the most is, even though, he's injured a bit of the time, he's not the healthiest guy out there, he's very consistent. He's around that 50-60 point mark for a long time, and he's been consistent for a long time, and I feel like that's what the Sharks are going to get throughout these 8 years. Get there. I feel like it was going to be around that $7 to $8 million. And while I don't know if it makes, I think it does make sense for the San Jose Sharks, and while it might not be the best deal out there, then get him for really a cheap price, he was going to be up there. He was going to be that $8 million price tag just because he's a first-line center. That's what these guys get nowadays, and I feel like this was perfectly realistic for what San Jose was going to have to end up paying for him. $8 million is right in the ballpark. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he really lasts towards he's still worth that $8 million price tag, to where he's still a first-line center. It's going to be interesting to see if he keeps that up, but going towards his 37 years old, that is a long contract for a guy who has not scored 70 points in his career, but I feel like he brings consistency. He's not the healthiest guy in the world, but I feel like the consistency is a big thing, and I feel like they'll definitely bring that for a long time in the San Jose Sharks organization like he already has. A lot more expensive for the LA Kings. He ends up signing an 8-year deal that goes until he's 36. So that 8-year deal compiles to just under $11 million. I don't think we have the exact number, but it was apparently just below $11 million. So about that 10.5 to, of course, $11 million range. So it's pretty much in that ballpark. And for me, it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, but for Doughty, I think it is worth it. For me, he's a top 3 or even top 5 defenseman in the NHL, and paying him 10.5 or whatever it ends up being is definitely worth that for me. I feel like you're getting that production every single year. He's, again, like Logan Couture, very consistent, and he's always reliable. For Doughty, I feel like that contract would be very good, and even at his age 36, I still think that he'll be going at a pretty good level. With Doughty, again, it's kind of realistic for what he was going to get, 10.5 or whatever that ends up being. That price range, I feel like for a top 5 defenseman in the league, that's definitely worth it. The Logan Couture comparison is not as great because Logan Couture, let's face it, he's not a top 5 center in the league. He's more like a top 30 center in the league, something like that. And he's not quite that elite level like Doughty is. And with Doughty, I feel like he definitely was going to get that money, that $11 million money. I feel like he was going to be around there. So this contract, again, kind of like Logan Couture, makes sense and is pretty realistic. So for me, the Doughty contract, it doesn't look bad at all. I feel like it, isn't a steal or anything. It's not like Doughty is getting away with it. It's just a serviceable deal that, is going to benefit both sides. The LA Kings needed to keep Doughty to continue some success. They really needed him to be there and to continue being that cornerstone. And for Doughty, that's a lot of money, and money that he's definitely earned. So for Doughty, I just feel like it's going to be a good deal. LA, I feel like it's a good deal. I don't think like it's a great deal for either one. I don't think anybody's getting away with it. It's just a serviceable deal that I feel like everybody expected. It's in that price range to where it's not really, terrible for LA, but it's still a ton of money to invest in one person. As long as it's Doughty, I feel like that one person and that one player is going to be pretty well throughout that contract. But of course, 2 big signings coming out of the Pacific Division today, and 2 big guys to come out of that 2019 free agency class. And while it's looking to be a pretty stacked one, we see a couple of guys that would have been there not be there. So a couple of guys being erased from that, as we kind of predicted, but a little bit less, I guess, stars coming out of the 2019 class so far. And there'll probably be some guys signing extensions as well. We'll just have to wait and see for that, but some 2 key guys coming out of the 2019 potentially class, and some guys that would not go to free agency. So in that case, it makes next year a little bit less exciting because we're getting extensions right when this free agency is about to start. But hey, extensions are extensions, and of course they're always fun to talk about. So that's going on for today, guys. Guys, enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe. Tell me down below what you think of these 2 extensions. What do you think of Logan Couture signing the extension for San Jose? And what do you think of Doughty signing his extension with the LA Kings? I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.